Hey y'all, my name is Kelsey, and me and my husband flip furniture as a hobby. And today I'm going to show y'all the basic steps we took to flip this dresser. The first thing you want to do when flipping is clean the piece that you're working on. It's essential to remove all of the dirt and grime because you don't want that grime to affect your surface when you sand it and paint it. My husband is using Cred Cutter, and it's our go-to product right now, but sometimes we do just use Dawn dish soap and water, but it's up to you what you want to use. Here my husband is sanding the top of the dresser. I always like to start out by trying to get to the wood grain for the top of dressers. This makes the dresser pop and allows for us to sell it at a higher price because of the wood look. Here he is using a 220 grit sandpaper and gently sanding it away until he gets to the wood, careful not to blow through the veneer. When he gets to the curved edge, he added a foam pad to the orbital sander. That way it can help reach all of the curves without cutting into the wood. To reach the part where the curved wood meets the top of the dresser, we use these detail attachments that we got off of Amazon. I'll add the link below. These are essential to use when you have fine detail parts. You just stick the sandpaper directly on top, and then you can use them by hand, or in this case, he attached it to the detail sander. Before sanding the rest of the dresser, he removed all of the hardware. For the rest of the dresser, he's just going to scuff sand with the 150 grit just to remove the shine off the dresser so that the primer and paint has something to stick to. He will also use the detail sanding attachments to get into the hard to reach places. We've removed some of the decals that we didn't care for in order to give it a more modern look. One of the drawers fell over while we were sanding, so here my husband is taking out the sides of the drawer so that he's able to slide in the bottom and then re-glue everything back together. He then clamped both ends so that it could cure overnight. The drawer slide was also broken, but the slide was still intact, so he was able to recenter it and attach it to the bottom of the drawer. He made sure it was centered by using a square, and once it was in place, he used a brad nailer to secure it. We also removed a few more details from this piece. Luckily in this case it was only held on by brad nails. They were easy to pop off. I took it a step further and removed the base. I wasn't too sure what would be underneath, but I figured if it was too bad, I would just re-secure it. This one was a bit more tough because it was glued on. It took some of the wood veneer off when I pulled it apart. Once I removed the base from both sides, there was a noticeable gap that would have taken too much Bondo to fill. So I found the perfect piece of wood that fit inside and used wood glue to secure it. I also used wood glue to secure that piece of veneer that came apart once I took the base off, and I used a clamp to secure it overnight. One of the last steps before priming and painting is filling all of the holes left by the nails. The trick with Bondo is using the surface that you're going to sand on to mix the Bondo, and to mix in small batches since it dries quickly. I also filled the side where we inserted that piece of wood with Bondo, but I used a lot less Bondo since I had that piece of wood inside of it. Once all of the Bondo is sanded and smooth, we go through with dish soap and water to get all of the dust off from there. We prime the entire piece and then use a paint sprayer with enamel paint to get a smooth finish. After everything was done, this was the final look. To get a perfect finish, it's all about the prep work. The prep work with this piece took several days, but it was worth it. I will link the products I used below, and feel free to check out which pieces are available on my Etsy page. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.